Well, welcome back. First thing I want to do in this session is to sort of apologize for there being such a lapse in the time that I've been able to present these things. But I'm doing the best I can. I'm sort of doing this when we have opportunity to pay particular attention to it. Um, but what I'd like to say right now is that I sort of like to wax philosophical for a minute, at least artistically. What I've been trying to do here with this presentation is to show you how I approach painting a picture. And I more or less approach any type of painting that I do in the same fashion. So uh, whether you're doing a landscape or a seascape in this particular style, it sort of all works the same way. But what I want to say about that is this, that this is only one approach to painting a picture. There are unlimited numbers of ways of approaching the painting. This is a style which I have developed over the years that are applicable to me and to the things that I enjoy to do. And there's a particular painter that I have in mind which sort of spurs on this conversation, and I won't mention his name, but I admire his work. I love his work, everything about it, and his approach. But it is really opposite to my approach to painting a picture, and that is he said that an artist should approach his subject and squint at it, narrow his vision in that so that he gets a more general idea of the impression of what he's looking at. And the result of his work is extraordinary and wonderful. But for me, it's sort of the opposite. I have discovered about myself that what I enjoy most about being a painter, and probably most about being a human being, is to be able to look at the world wide-eyed and to practice of observing things, observing the details. And the way that I approach my painting over the years now has become a very similar approach to the way I see things generally. I love the details. I love the extraordinary way that things are. And in my painting process and my approach to art generally is really just the exploration of things. I find texture, I find color, I find there's the novelty and the extraordinary way that things function on this planet to blow my mind. And so with my painting, I like to pay close attention to that. And so when I'm talking about paying attention and close attention to the paintings, I'm sort of talking about that because it just generally brings you closer to things. Now, this is a very specific way of approaching art. And, some people may agree with it or disagree with it. Who cares? I don't care. Um, that's the uniqueness of this diversity that we have, and I love that. Anyway, this is the way I do it, and the painting technique which I have developed just accommodates that approach to seeing the world. Now, it's not that I want to paint every little detail. That's crazy, and I think in a lot of ways that kills the life of a painting. But it is important for me and for people who paint or observe the world like I do, is to pick out those elements which are important. So you have to continually make decisions about what is important and what's not important. Um, and so this is the way that this is the way I'm beginning to approach this next step in this little self-portrait that I'm doing. We've done the basic stuff. We've done a drawing. We sort of started with a very broad observation of the subject, and we're narrowing it down. Well, now we're really going to start narrowing it down, and I'm not going to bore you with making you watch every little thing that I do here. I'm going to show you how I started, and then I'll continue this process until the completion of the painting, but so that you'll be able to go ahead and work on your own pictures, for those of you who are following this, in the same fashion, because I'll be more or less following the same procedure throughout the painting. And so that's really pretty much what I want to say about that. Now we're gonna actually start doing something here. So before we actually begin working today, for those of you who may or may not have noticed, I got this thing that's grown up on my face here, which is not in the previous picture. So we'll deal with that. It's no big thing, except that it really kind of itches a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my palette here, and I'm going to set up the palette again and show you what I'm doing today. There's been some questions, and by the way, thank you for your questions. I hope I can clear up some of the issues. Some of you have issues with the amount of medium and turpentine and all of that stuff. Well, don't get too hung up on that. That's only relatively important. And also, what do I do when I've left the painting like I have now for a little while? Do I do anything in particular to prepare the painting for today's work? And what I will do is I'll very quickly put a little what's this stuff called? Retouch varnish over some of the areas, just so I can see the proper colors. But now I'm going to go over to the palette here. I'm going to mix up today's work. What we're doing now in this session is we're going to begin the real painting of it. And what I mean by that is we've done the drawing of it. I'm more or less satisfied. There's going to be changes along the way all the time, but I'm more or less satisfied with the size and shape and the placement of stuff, the basic foundation colors that I have on there. But now I'm going to start paying real attention to the colors that I'm actually seeing, and I'm going to try and reproduce those. And as I do it more accurately, as I reproduce these colors and these shadows and highlights that I see more accurately, the better the likeness will be. Of course, the end result is accurate drawing, accurate seeing. You're going to have a likeness. I mean, you can't help but have a likeness. Okay? All right.